there has been a great transformation in our country, in the individuals, in the way we see people, the way we see events. That word to me really kind of sums it up, transformative. Juneteenth is transformative.
Juneteenth was well fought for by many people in order to become the holiday we now celebrate. I've had the honor of interviewing one of the people that helped to make this possible, Miss Dione Sims, the granddaughter of Miss Opal Lee, and learn more about what Juneteenth not only means to Texas, but for the world. Aquaba to SamaTime. Aquaba to SamaTime, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Telling Our Stories. Juneteenth is something that we all need to celebrate. It is a holiday not meant just for Texas or for the U.S., but for the entire world. And I'm here with someone who helped make that history. Miss Dione Sims, how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Samir. I am doing well today. Thank you.
Now, Miss Sims, I always like to start with childhood. Where did you grow up and what was your childhood like?
So my childhood was really pretty plain here in Fort Worth. And I remember spending time with my grandmother. Now, you have to know that my grandmother was not the Betty homemaker type, all right? So she was always in the community doing something. When we got old enough, 12, 13 years old, that she could put us to work, we spent summers organizing, helping her with whatever community thing she was doing.
Miss Opal Lee, widely known as the grandmother of Juneteenth, is the founder of Opal's Walk for Freedom and an activist, known for her decades-long dedication to seeing that Juneteenth becomes a holiday. While Juneteenth is one of the things people know Miss Dione Sims to help Miss Opal Lee with, there were other things as well, starting with a computer school for the elderly. Can you remember the first community event you had helped Miss Opal Lee with?
So I have done Juneteenth with her, but I was always on the back end. So I wasn't outside in the heat. It's just too hot in Texas. But she and I had a computer school. We got a grant and that allowed us 10, at that time, desktops. I mean, the big little systems from IBM, because she did not want her peer group left behind. So I was brought in to teach them about the computer so they wouldn't be scared of the computer. And they always was thinking about others.
Juneteenth is the federal holiday when slavery was finally ended. Celebrated on June 19th, it represents a powerful testament to the resilience and perseverance of Black people.
I remember I was in 2014 and I saw my grandmother finish her a 3-mile walk parade and go to start her Juneteenth event and welcome everybody. And I remember saying to myself that I'm a bad granddaughter. My grandmother is 86 years old and she just needs to come into the new millennium and get on social media, get a website or two, And I asked her if I could help her with that. And so that's when Juneteenth really became something to me, person versus just going to an event and having fun in the community. Yeah. So it really meant something at that time, and that was in 2014.
So after 2014, when you had first got involved with Juneteenth, what happened next?
Well, the year it was 2015, Juneteenth had celebrated its 150th anniversary of existence from 1865 to 2015. It had been 150 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we worked really hard we had about 10 events that Juneteenth through the whole month of June. And one thing in particular was we had the state of Texas commission that license plate right there. Can you hand it to me?
Wow.
That license plate right there, my grandmother petitioned the state to make one. So we now have a Juneteenth license plate celebrating the 150th anniversary of Juneteenth.
That sounds amazing.
And so we had all these events in 2015 to celebrate the freedom that Juneteenth represented. And 2016, we did kind of the same thing. And that's when she told me that she wanted to walk to D.C. to talk to President Obama about Juneteenth being a national holiday.
And this was the start of Opal's Walk for Freedom. walking 2.5 miles to represent the 2.5 years it took for the news of the Emancipation Proclamation to reach Galveston, Texas in 1865. Along the way, Miss Opal Lee amassed 1.5 million signatures to present to Congress, and by 2017 had finally reached DC in the cold month of January. 4 years later, on June 17, 2021, Miss Opal's wish was finally heard and set in stone when President Joe Biden signed the petition and made Juneteenth a holiday. And then eventually, Mr. Joe Biden was able to sign that. How did you feel that day?
That was a neat feeling because in 2016, when she started it, I told her, you know, when this becomes a law, you're going to be there and I'm going to be with you. All right. And so to move ahead 5 years and it actually comes, and actually it's faster than I thought it was going to be, quite honestly.
Now, from the start of Opal's Walk for Freedom, did you guys face any challenges and how were you able to overcome it?
Really, the greatest challenge, because it started out as Opal's Walk to DC, and then it was Opal's Walk for Juneteenth. And then now that it was made a holiday, it's Opal's Walk for Freedom, because the freedom that Juneteenth represent really transcends the holiday. Okay, and so the obstacles that we faced were more about time than people. People were very open to exploring the idea. Now, it took a while to get there because you had to educate them on how Juneteenth could be more than a Texas thing. All right. Because we held it very close to the vest in Texas. All right. We were very proud of our emancipation. But the ability for that to be transcended into being a global and even a national and an international symbol, like when you say Xerox, you think copies.
Yes, ma'am.
When old folks used to say Frigidaire, they meant the refrigerator. So Opal's Walk for Freedom is what I want folks to say. I want to make a statement. I want to do an Opal's Walk, okay? So that it becomes that kind of inclination in their mind that it's not a protest. It's just an act of that I can do, all right, individually to walk for something I believe in. And so that impact in and of itself is what made the movement of Opal's Walk for Freedom. And so now when we establish every Juneteenth to walk 2.5 miles in remembrance of her campaign, we are also saying that Juneteenth will be able to transcend the boundaries of Texas, the boundaries of the U.S., and folks can walk 2.5 miles anywhere they are.
I love how you guys had taken control of the technology to be able to promote it globally.
Well, and I think that's a lot to do with our global marketing director, Daria Hookfin, who
Shout out to Miss Diaria.
Shout out to Miss Diaria, who has been a part of this team for as long as I think 7 years now. And so she came in as a volunteer. And she said, you know, there are things that, you know, I do, Miss Dion. And I'm just like, okay, take it, girl. I thank God for putting people like that. He said he would give you men, he would give us men for our lives. And then he brings people on to help usher it and to keep it going. And when you get discouraged, like, you know, this is just, am I making it too big? Am I, you know, trying to do too much? But they help to, you know, strengthen you, to hold your arms up and say, no, we here. We got you. Right?
Did you feel like those were the questions you were asking during the whole building of Opal's Walk for Freedom?
It was that I asked myself, you know, the thought of going virtual, you know, or the thought of wanting to have Opal's Walk in more than just where we are, to have simultaneous walks happening, you know, with host cities, right? And now this idea that we will stand up one Opal's Walk in all 50 states, like McDonald's has company stores. That's, you know, I'm like, am I thinking too big? Am I, you know, trying to expand too fast? But America only turns 250 once. So the goal for the last 3 years is to be able to celebrate the holiday, the America turning 250, with 50 Opal's walks in all 50 states.
That's beautiful.
You know? And so I'm like, big or not, we got to go for it, right? I've got a team, and this team knows people, right? And each of us working together can produce the vision that he gave us. So
Yes.
I try not to talk myself out of it, and somebody, tell me, well, you're just doing too much. You're just doing too much. I don't know that I'm doing enough, for freedom, for what the freedom represents, not just the holiday, but our basic rights to live.
Yes, ma'am. And speaking of that, let's talk about what's going on tomorrow, where we're going to be doing the walk.
So we've got a 2.5-mile route, outlined in our cultural district, and we're going to land on the 50-yard line of our historic Farrington Field here in Fort Worth. And we're going to have a great after party, the afterglow, as we're calling it. Well, at least that's what I'm calling it. But with, food and beverage, but also music acts and poetry and all the arts on the stage, interviews. But the finale is hopefully maybe one of the largest boots on the ground activations at least on a football field. I think he just released it with the football field, and so hopefully we'll be able to have a really great time doing that and celebrating Juneteenth. I mean, because Juneteenth is not just about a festival; it is about education, it is about empowerment, it is about educate, empower, and entertain. Those are my 3 E's of our organization, and so we will end that part, and then we still have 2 other events. The next one is our Empowering You. So it's a health fair, job fair, business and entrepreneurship, informational resource fair, all rolled into one. Because when our ancestors were told they were free, they had to ask themselves, free to do what? What resources do I have to do anything? And they had to make life decisions with very little information. And so our goal is to make sure that Empowering You as an event puts into our hands the needed information to make a choice. Do I continue working, or do I go ahead and start that business that I've wanted to? The one thing the pandemic showed people is that their side hustle had to become their main hustle when companies laid them off. And so, do you take that passion that you survived with and now let that be, your moneymaker? Like, how do you monetize that? And then how do you keep your books with it? So all of these things is what we make available during Empowering You. And then our last event is for our young people, which is Your Voice Unleashed.
Love how it takes the 3 E's, as you said,
That's
to
right.
educate, empower, and entertain. And that's beautiful that it's expanding far beyond just the day, and it's showing everybody, okay, this is what we look like as a unit. When we move together, when we build together, when we strive together as a community.
That is the goal. And that's the only thing that one can hope, is that everything that you do is for the betterment of somebody else. And I think that when you look at Juneteenth in its simplest terms and you boil it down to the least common denominator, it's about human dignity. And elevate Juneteenth out of just being a historical moment in history to being a tool that helps us reach the heart of the individual and help elevate the nation as a whole. Then Juneteenth is so much more. And we have to see it that way.
We do have to see it that way. Now, what are 2 fun facts about Opal's walk that a few people know?
Miss Opal traveled a lot by herself. At 89 years old and 90, she went to, we left Fort Worth. She went to Little Rock, Arkansas, Fort Smith, all the way to Tuskegee, Alabama, and then we went to Atlanta, Georgia. But I think what was neat more than anything is that She never got tired. Even as she, walked and stood in line from 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock when President Obama spoke in Durham, North Carolina, she never sat down. She stood up talking to young people. And she said, if I get on this ground, Dione, I might not get up and then he might miss me. I might miss him. But she just has a tenacity about her that, it just had to be done. And so I think, one of the fun facts about Opal's Walk is that it will happen. It's gonna happen. And we hope folks that will enjoy themselves at every time. The second fun fact is that it has grown. We've had walks in DC, Columbus, Ohio, Evanston, in Chicago. Folks have walked in New York, and these are actual Opal's Walks. So a lot of people don't know how many Opal's Walks there have been over time. And people are excited to be a part of something positive, when we face so much negativity in the world. So I think that's one of the neatest fun facts to me is the positivity of Juneteenth and Opal's Walk for Freedom.
Yes, it is. Now, also, I would like to touch on how Miss Opal Lee has her own children's book.
She does. Now, my grandmother wanted to write a children's, because she was a teacher first. Always a teacher. And we first got images off the internet to build her first one that we published. And it's self-published. Unity Unlimited publishes it in 2019. Okay. So if anybody has that version 1, hold on to it. Okay. Then in March of 2021, we released this first version of the book. And it was, Invit Group was a marketing team who paid for an illustrator to do the pictures of this book that we released, second version, in March of 2021. The holiday we just released it, made in June of 2021. So then I had to release it again, but we added the special edition on it because we added this picture right here. So I had to reprint the book, had to put another edition out for this picture right here. And so this is the special edition book. And now you can get this at opalswalk2dc.com or get it, and it can be signed and have Miss Opal's autograph in it. Or you can get it at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, but they don't have the signed ones.
Now, how would you describe Juneteenth?
Transformative. There has been a great transformation in our country, in the individuals, in the way we see people, the way we see events. That word to me really kind of sums it up, transformative. Juneteenth is transformative.
Now, thank you so much, Ms. Sims, for your time. I appreciated it. I got to learn more about Juneteenth, more about Opal's Walk from you. So thank you so much. And I got to learn about you too. Thank you.
I really appreciate the platform you have. And again, to be so young, I've seen the list of folks that you have come in contact with, right? And how you carry that vision for yourself as a young woman, and someone who's got a forward think. You're thinking forward, and how you can be an influencer and an impact in the sphere that you have. And your sphere is growing. Your sphere is growing. So, this is you at 13. Wait till you at 35. I can't wait to see it.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
I appreciate it. Now we are telling our stories. Until next time on SamaTime. Behind every great movement is a team of visionaries. Getting to meet the organizers like Miss Dione Sims officially was a highlight, but seeing the community come alive was the real story. From the performances to the 2.5-mile trek through Fort Worth, their energy never wavered. This wasn't just about a walk. It was about the networking, the conversations, and the shared commitment to Dr. Opal Lee's mission. Juneteenth is more than a day. It's a promise we keep.